Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Bergara HMR B14 in a 308. So super excited to be doing this accuracy / review on this rifle, mainly because it's chambered in a 308, which I am a die-hard believer of 308. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you already know that, but I really love this rifle, and I want to talk about some of the things that I like about the rifle, some of the things that I don't like about the rifle, and then we're actually going to put this rifle to the test, shoot some rounds through it, and see what kind of accuracy groups we can get out of this thing. So diving straight into it, I want to talk about the pros of the rifle. So just right off the rip, I want to talk about the looks and the features of it, because that's kind of your first initial impression of this rifle. It has the matte gray on the action and the barrel, which is a really big deal. I like the fact that it's a stainless, everything is stainless, but then they give you that flat Cerakote, so if you do take it into the woods hunting, you do have that kind of concealment. It's not real bright and flashy out in the woods. So just the overall finish of the barrel and the action, I really like. The stock is really nice as well. It's got a couple QD sling spots. You also have your traditional sling stud mounts down on the bottom of the stock as well, which is a good deal. Gives you the option to do either or. They also give you a second sling stud option for mounting a bipod or some type of accessory out there. And then you do get the adjustable comb feature with this stock also. One negative on this stock is the simple fact that you cannot you do not have the ability to mount an ARCA plate or an ARCA rail. Now there are some aftermarket companies that are out there that give you the ability to take the action and the barrel off and bed a permanent ARCA rail to this stock, which is okay. I just wish they gave some M-lock slots down on the bottom side of this stock so that you could add that ARCA plate option if you wanted to, which is why I've got it in this saddle, this tripod saddle today, versus on a typical ARCA lock ball head. So that's kind of a brief overview of everything. I do want to talk about the action, because I think an action is very important when it comes to purchasing a rifle. And this action is arguably, I'm going to say it's the second best action that I own in a rifle. The best, I'm not going to say the second, it's probably tied for second with my Christensen Arms 300 Win Mag that I have. Really nice action. Bolt is very similar to that Christensen Arms, the way that it's kind of polished and has the grooves cut in it. It's not quite as good as my Springfield 2020 Waypoint, but it's not like you're going to be able to tell a huge difference in the two actions. I can only tell a difference in it mainly because I've been running the two rifles for several years now, and I can just tell a slight difference. But all in all, for a rifle that is MSRPing right around $1,200, this is a fantastic action based off the Remington Model 700 platform. You do have the ability to take your bolt knob off and adjust it and make a change. So if you would like a slimmer profile, if you want a bigger profile, you're able to make those adjustments, which is really good. And then obviously they give you the option for a detachable box magazine. Some people like the detachable box magazine, some people don't like them. In this platform, I like the idea of being able to carry more rounds, especially since it's a 308 in that magazine. And I do like the fact that you can purchase aftermarket magazines specifically for this rifle, because it runs AICS mags. So you can actually get a 2 or 3 round mag where this will be flush, which is to me a big deal for if you're out in the woods hunting. A lot of people don't like that magazine down. They want that more traditional look. So having that versatility and those options are a big deal. Let's talk about the negatives of this rifle, which is, in my opinion, very few and far between. I've already mentioned one about the stock and the ARCA rail. I wish that was a case, so that's technically a negative. The other negative that I have is going to be the overall weight of this rifle. Now, I want to talk about the reasoning behind why I do not like the weight of this rifle, and then I also want to talk about why I do like the weight of this rifle. So the negative behind it is this gun is set up to be that kind of crossover hybrid between a hunting rifle and a bench style target practicing rifle as well. And to merge all of those together, you've got to have a little bit of everything. You've got to have all the features, but then you also need a gun that's a little heavier, so that whenever you do go to the range and you are potentially shooting competition, you don't have a lot of muzzle jump, you don't have a lot of recoil. So the weight is kind of twofolded. So I don't like it from a carrying it in the woods, maneuvering it in the woods, but I do like it from a recoil mitigation standpoint. Fantastic firearm for if you're wanting to get a first-time rifle for a young shooter. There's going to be very low recoil. Obviously, you're shooting a 308 out of this gun, so you can shoot 150 all the way up to a 180 grain bullet. So it's going to be very nice and deadly out in the woods for whitetail deer, mule deer, antelope, whatever it may be, bear for the most part too. So I really like that about the rifle. So you kind of got to take the weight and almost look at it as a take it or leave it. There's pros to it and there's also cons to it. Personally, I think overall this package, I think that the pros outweigh the only two negatives that I have on this rifle. So I think that all in all, if you're looking for a rifle that is not quite, I'm not going to say it's a budget-friendly scope or not a budget-friendly firearm, but it's also not getting up into that custom firearm range. You're going to be, cheaper than a Sig Cross, but you're going to be more expensive than the majority of your Savages and your Rugers. But you do get a lot of different options on this rifle that bridges that gap between a custom rifle and a cheaper rifle that's out there on the market. So it checks a lot of boxes for me. I absolutely love this rifle, but the true test for you guys and for me is how well does this rifle shoot. So we're going to be shooting some Norma 150 grain whitetail bullets, and the reason that I want to use a cheaper round like this is because this is what this gun is designed to do. This gun is designed to go to the range. It's designed to shoot a lot of rounds. It's designed to hunt with. It's designed to target practice with, and a lot of times it's hard to justify spending a lot of money on very high quality, expensive ammunition. And I think that the test for me personally on these guns is how well can they group factory ammunition. Now I know a lot of that grouping is going to go back into the factory ammo and how well it's loaded, but I've had out of this Norma, so we're going to try today on paper. We've got 5 targets downrange. We're going to shoot the center target first. I've got the gun bore sighted, so we'll probably have to make a couple micro adjustments. I do have a 0 stop still set on this scope, so we may have to do some playing depending on if I need to move it down any. Hopefully I don't. And we're gonna see what we can do. We're shooting today, we're gonna be shooting the Athlon Aries ETR, and this is a 4.5 by 30 by 56 millimeter scope. My favorite scope that Athlon makes, hands down the favorite scope that they make. I use this scope on a lot of shooting videos because I trust it. I can hold very steady on it, and it is very clear. So this is a really good scope to pair with this platform. And then today we're going to be shooting off of a different tripod that you've seen in the past. I made mention of the saddle that I got. This is actually a Sunway Photo SM86 saddle up top, and then the tripod is the Sunway Photo T4020 CSLI. So that's a little bit of a mouthful, but you've got the carbon fiber legs, you've got the ball head, and here's one thing that I really like about this tripod. It is ARCA compatible, and so is this saddle. So this saddle just screws on, and I've got the ARCA plate here, so if I have a gun that has an ARCA rail, I can still use this tripod, or in this situation where I have a gun that does not have an ARCA plate, I can run this saddle, which has an ARCA plate on the bottom, lay this saddle in there, clamp it down, and then now I'm locked in, ready to go. So that's the shooting situation and the setup that we've got today. Let's get everything settled and looking downrange, and let's see exactly how accurate this Bergara B14 HMR is going to be. Again, like I made mention, we have bore sighted this right. Do not know exactly where it's going to hit, so we'll have to make a couple micro adjustments to start with. We're going to shoot first at the center target, and we're going to do 1 or 2 shots just to try to get it dialed in, and then we're going to go 4 different groups in the top left, top bottom left, and bottom. We're going to see exactly what we can do. Now, obviously, we're not necessarily going for bullseye or point of impact. We're mainly looking for groups. So depending on where the rifle's at, we may not make any adjustments. We really just want to see what this group will do adjustment-wise. And then also, I forgot to mention, I've got the Omega 300 can on the end of this gun. Really like this thing. I've been using it for the past couple months. It's a joy to shoot, and I'm thinking it's going to do really good on this Bergara. It's actually the first time I've ever shot this suppressor on this gun, so I'm excited to see what it's going to do. But let's quit yapping and shoot some rounds downrange. So fire in the hole, first round, dead center target. Okay, so to the right and low just a little bit. Just go there. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're low by maybe an inch, 2. So let's go right there. That should be pretty close. I want to make mention, and the way that it ejects brass is fantastic. Sometimes on rifles I struggle finding a gun that consistently ejects brass the way that I like it to, and I have absolutely never had an issue with this rifle. So super thrilled with it, really like it. I think you guys will too. So all right, second shot, made a couple micro adjustments there. Let's see what we can get right here. I'm gonna say that that right there is filling. Go, and we're gonna go on the top left diamond, and that is going to be, this is going to be our first group officially. So we shot the one in the middle, made a micro adjustment, shot again, pretty much knocked the bullseye out. So let's go 3 shots in the top left, and we'll go all the way across. So top left corner, 3 first rounds grouping. Sweat rolling down my face. Okay, so top left. So smooth. Absolutely love this trigger too. I forgot to talk about the trigger, but the trigger straight from the factory, straight from Bergara, is super nice. And they may actually have an aftermarket trigger in here. I don't remember that spec. Second shot. Okay, so we got not necessarily hole in hole, but for sure holes are touching, so that's a big deal. I'm trying to get this tripod situated. There we go. Legs are just a touch tall for setting down and shooting, but it's gonna work. All right, third shot. Here we go. I absolutely pulled the crap out of that. We're shooting another one at the top left. That was 1000% on me. No doubt in my mind. Dadgummit. Wow, that was real bad, Blake. You can do better than that. All right, fourth round. Let's forget about that last one. Shooter era. That's better. It's probably gonna be MOA, maybe a touch under. If that last bullet would have been a little higher, we probably could have got better MO or better group out of that. But first two shots are good. Third shot, I muffed that one. There's no doubt in my mind when I pulled the trigger, that was 1000% on me. And then fourth shot's right back up there. So not bad. All the disturbance on the paper, those are touching. So let's go on the top right now. Alrighty, so top right. Let's see what kind of groups we can get. Okay, so hanging on the left edge, that's probably just a small adjustment that needs to be made with my scope, but we're not going to make that adjustment because we're mainly shooting groups. And you know, if I was going to actually continue setting this rifle up for deer hunting, I would make that small adjustment, but I just want to show some consistency on this. So let's go right here. Another shot, shot number 2, group number 2. Okay, so that's pretty much hole and hole right there, so that's a big deal. This is where I, as a shooter, get nervous because we have the ability right here to make a shot to have an incredible group. And I just gotta hope that I can do my part. So here we go, shot number 3, group number 2. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would like for it to have been 3 holes in a row, but that is not bad at all. That is for sure sub MOA. We're 0.75 MOA right there all day. Might be a hair better. Definitely 0.75, and we might be in between a half and 0.75. Maybe it might be knocking on the door 0.5, I don't know. But really, really cool. Awesome to see right there. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's almost 9 shots through it. Let's let this barrel cool for just a thought, and then we'll shoot that last 2 groups. Super hot today. We repped out a bunch of videos a couple weeks back when we had a really nice, pretty cold front come through, and that cold front has since left us, which I am missing it, but we're making do what we can. You just have to excuse my my flip-flops and my t-shirt sweat rings. A lot of people gave me some junk on my flip-flops the other day, but they're not out here filming in 93-degree heat trying to produce videos for you. All right, bottom left corner, shot number 1, group number 3. See what we can do here. There's a freaking bug flew in my ear. I have no idea if y'all could see that or not. Yeah. I'm hoping that I'm gonna blame that on that bug. Dadgummit. All right, here we go. Take it for real now. Okay. Starting to move that point of impact, but we're still grouping, and that is what you typically see when your barrel starts heating up a pretty good bit. You will see the gun start to walk in a general direction, but you will maintain groups because your barrel's consistently throwing that bullet in the same place. It's just at your point of impact shift. So let's go 3rd shot right here and see if that's the case. Yeah, that's what it is. Barrel's heating up, and it is it's wanting to walk a little bit, but again, that group is not bad. I mean, the holes are not touching, but they're very close, and that group's actually probably going to be sub MOA, even though it's not anywhere close to the bullseye. But again, we're not going off of that. We're going off of the groupings that this rifle can do. And I can tell for sure that this barrel's getting hot. I probably didn't let it set long enough. We're gonna risk it for the biscuit right here, and we're gonna go ahead and see what this rifle can do with a hot barrel. We know in that top right that's the grouping that this gun is really capable of, because that's a really good group. And we didn't shoot a bad group right there. We just didn't shoot, you know, onto the bullseye. So let's go to the last group in the bottom right corner, 1st shot of the 4th group. And let's see what we can do right here. Yep. So we're still tracking that inch. We're still tracking an inch low and an inch to the left, which is okay, guys. Again, we could make those adjustments if we were gonna, you know, set this gun up for hunting. We're just doing an accuracy review right now. Every one of the groupings have stayed left. And these and the last two groups have been trending a little bit more left and a little low. Two more shots, see what we can do right here. Yep, that's good. Not hole, but the holes are touching for sure. So that point of impact, POI as people call it, is shifting because of the barrel heating up, which a lot of people talk crap about sitting here letting the barrel cool, but this is why I try to do that in between sets. But it's so hot out here today that it would take this barrel forever to cool down. Third and final shot, see what we can get out of it. Whew. I got a mirage in here from that Omega. Come on, Blake. Yeah, there you go. Well, that one, just judging off the look of it, looks like it's probably MOA. Could be a hair under MOA, but again, not bad right there. Definitely that second group is the best one. So let's I'm gonna leave this action open and let's walk down here and get this target and we'll let you guys take a look at it. Man, I know y'all probably see just sweat absolutely rolling off me, but what a cool video. This is a really awesome rifle, guys. For what you get, the amount of features that come straight from Bergara is typically what you see out of a custom rifle builder. You know, the adjustable comb, adjustable length of pull, the detachable AICS magazine, QD points all the way around on both sides of the stock, threaded barrel, and this gun handles a lot of rounds through it really good. The more that I look at these groupings, the more that I realize that the gun did not open up all that much, and we shot these rounds pretty close together. Obviously that first grouping in the top left corner, that number 3 shot was just 100% on me, and I told you guys as soon as I shot that was my fault. But we've got in the top left, we have the number 1 shot, which is about a half an inch left and about a half an inch high, and then the other shot was pretty much touching. The holes are basically touching. There's no paper in between it. I can actually make that paper go away. And then the 4th shot was not quite as close as the top 2, but definitely probably, I'm gonna say that those 2 holes are probably a half inch away from each other, maybe 3/4 of an inch away from each other, which is probably going to bring that group all the way up to about MOA. So you're probably not going to be below MOA there just because of that top hole and the bottom hole and the distance between those, which is unfortunate because the gun is clearly better than that, as you can see on the number 2 grouping, which we've got practically a hole in hole. And then 3rd shot is just slightly low. I'm gonna say that's close to 1/4 of an inch, maybe a half inch distance between the farthest one and the next closest one to it. But the widest group right there, I'm gonna say, let me actually grab a tape measure here and I'll cut in these distances here just to try to help you out. So the distance from hole to hole from the farthest there is exactly right at a half of an inch, and then by the time you probably just slightly over a half inch, and then by the time you subtract the diameter of the bullet, which is 0.3, then you're going to be 0.5 MOA right there. So that's a half inch gun, and to be honest with you, that is exactly what I expected this gun to shoot, was around that 0.5 MOA marking. And obviously I think that this gun is consistently a 0.5 gun, mainly because, again, we're shooting off of a tripod with a saddle in a seated position, and if I was on bags, laying prone, on a bench, all those things would help bring those groupings in a little bit tighter. And then down here on the bottom left corner, you've got another group, which you've got 3 that fit inside of the inch mark. I don't know, I just want to see, I think this is probably going to be about 0.75. Yep, you're going to be about 0.75 right there, which is not bad, because all of these other shots they were done pretty close together. Not quite a rapid fire, but they were really close. So that's a real good group. And then opened up a little bit more, maybe by it's about an 1/8 inch bigger group on that shot number, or the grouping number 4, but still very, very close. And I really like to see those groupings holding together later on in the shooting cycle. If what I don't want to see is, I don't want to see a rifle that shoots really, really good for the number 2, 3, and 4 shots, and then all of a sudden it just starts scattering and going everywhere. Now, it is very typical for a rifle to, as you shoot it and as you consistently shoot it, that those groups will start to walk left, right, up, down in some form or fashion. Every rifle is a little different, but this gun did not walk that much. I mean, if you look up at the first 2 groupings, we are maintaining about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch to the left off of bullseye, and we're slightly low on the second grouping, which I believe is probably the main group. And then the 3rd group and the 4th group, you see that rifle kind of wanting to start working downward a little bit, and I believe that that's indicative of that barrel heating up, which, yeah, I mean, that barrel is absolutely smoking right there. So but again, having those groupings maintain that type of pattern after basically rapid firing a lot of this stuff is really, really good. And again, I know that there are some rifles that are out there that can get down into that 0.75 MOA realm, and there's some very budget-friendly rifles that can do that, such as, which I've not shot one, but I've seen videos on the Ruger American, the Savage 110 Trail Hunter, which we did a review on not too long ago, is a 0.75 to, you know, in between an MOA gun and 0.75 MOA. But again, you kind of lose a little bit of the rifle between this one and that Savage, mainly because you get so many more features and options out of this Bergara than you would out of one of those Savages or Rugers. And that's where I think that this gun kind of takes it to that next level, which obviously is the indicator with the price tag that, you know, the MSRP on this rifle at you know, anywhere from $1150 to $1250 is typically what I've been finding on this. Sometimes you might be able to find one for $1100, but if you're in that ballpark, you know, wanting to say, I want to stay around $1,000 for a rifle, and you want a rifle that is a do-it-all type of rifle, this right here, in my opinion, is one of the best go-to guns on the market. Threaded barrel, you put a suppressor on it, it handles a lot of rounds going down range, stainless Cerakoted, adjustable comb, adjustable length of pull, fantastic trigger. Action is really, really nice. Love the action on this gun, and then the paint job on the stock is really nice as well. So just all things positive. I did have the 2 negatives, which was the lack of an Arca plate accessory, and then the weight. The weight is the other thing. But this gun, I could cut a little bit out of it if I took it and put a smaller scope on this, more of a typical deer hunting style rifle or scope, because this scope is made for precision shooting. At the end of the day, it's made for long range precision shooting. So it's a big glass, it's heavy glass, and you could shave some off the total package. But again, it's take it or leave it. That extra weight gives you really nice recoil reduction. So if you're wanting to shoot a larger, heavier round, like a 300 Win Mag, a 7 PRC, a 7 Rim Mag, all those heavy hitters, you will appreciate that little bit of extra added weight on this rifle. So I think that it's a very great firearm for the money. So, and it shoots like a daggum dream, and hopefully that showed in this video. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever about this gun, about the tripod, anything that was shown in this video, drop a comment down below. I'll try to help out any way I can. If you've got a question that's regarding a different firearm, you know, I love having conversations about guns and calibers and gear and equipment. That's my life. I love it. So feel free to shoot me a message on social media. I try my best to get back to everybody if I can, and it really does mean the world that y'all are watching what I've got going on my channel. And we are trying to grow this channel to 100,000 subscribers. So if you would hit that subscribe button, it really would mean the world to me. And then also share this video, because sharing these videos helps us get in front of other people that may not know about our channel. And absolutely love it, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's been fun. and I'll see you guys on the next episode.